All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. To all you zany heads out there, you might want to skip this one. This is going to be a solo episode. I'm going to go it alone. See if I can do an hour all by myself. Catherine is in Paris. She traveled to Paris yesterday. And all white women must go to Paris at some point in their lives. It's Mecca for white women. It calls out to them in the night. Nobody knows why or how. Has to do with the tides or the moon. Perhaps there's a tractor beam on the top of the Eiffel Tower that pulls white women towards gay Paris. So they're over there having their Carmela Soprano moment, and I'm here watching 4-hour-long documentaries on YouTube about the Kennedy assassination, because this is a bachelor pad now. You know? Just me and the elderly dog, hanging out, watching stuff we don't understand, taking too many edibles. At least that's the plan. But right now it's the work week, and I got to keep doing that shit. So yeah, she's over there. I'm not worried. I am definitely not afraid that she will have sex with a mime. I don't know why you suggested it. I'm not thinking about it. Of course I'm thinking about it. It's every man's biggest fear, that his girlfriend will go to Paris, meet a mime, be charmed by his invisible box, go back to his house, then he ties her up with an invisible rope, and they have sex, which is good sex because it's French. But also, I would imagine, very stinky. It is a fear. Those girthy, bright white, uncircumcised mime cocks are a real concern, So hopefully that's not happening, just thinking about that beret bobbing up and down. That's no good. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to put it out of my mind, and I'm going to imagine them at museums, okay? That's probably what they're doing, museums. Now, like, we don't have museums fucking here in New York. They don't have those here. So she had to go over there, and definitely isn't meeting up with any mimes whatsoever. Berets, that's funny. Berets, because over here, we make our most elite military units wear berets. It's an honor to get a colorful, jaunty lady's hat over here in the States. That's who berets are for, French ladies, mimes, and then our most elite soldiers. I mean, if you are so good at your job defending this country, I think you should be awarded with a jaunty little lady's floppy hat. You earned it. You held your breath for 12 minutes. You're a great marksman, You paratroop into some country that we're fighting for Israel, and you take out a bunch of bad guys. You should be allowed. You should be awarded with a cute, stylish hat that you wear a little bit to the side. Curtis Lewa, Guardian Angels guy, he wears a red beret, and all of his guys wear red berets. Now, here's the thing about the Guardian Angels. If you don't know, they're a group of vigilantes who patrol the New York subways, and they fight crime. They search for kids playing the knockout game, and they detain them. And they're just civilians, but they care. They care about this city. The thing is that I don't think the Guardian Angels have really recruited any new members since 1984. So they're all 150 years old, and they stand there with their arms crossed, wearing their cute little hats, their cute little floppy red hats, and they say, "Hey, you better not pull anything on this train." And you're like, "Well, what the fuck are you gonna do? What, you're dead, basically." And they have ponytails. A lot of them have ponytails, which is cool. That's a good look for a guy. For a 90-year-old man to have a red beret and a ponytail. When I see that shit, you know what I think? That's intimidating. I was going to play the knockout game with my friends, but then I saw you guys and I turned right around. I walked onto the 6 train and then I saw you and I turned right around and I got my life together and I went to college and I got a degree and I became a contributing member of society. And I owe that to Curtis Sliwa and his floppy fucking hat. And that's why I want him to be mayor of this whole city. I don't know what his platform is. I know he likes cats. I know that's part of it. But, yeah. So, Catherine's in France, and, I worry because I'm the protector. I'm a man. I'm the man of the relationship. My job is to provide and protect, and I'm not providing anything. We live in a hovel. I'm not very liquid right now, although I did just sell all of my Bitcoin because I think there's a crash coming. You heard it here first. So I got to protect, and what does it mean to protect as a man? You go to the bar, you have a few Miller High Lifes, then you take a wild swing at a guy that you think is making eyes at your girlfriend. That's what you do, okay? And I'm not there to do that for her. And the place is lousy with, mimes just eating handfuls of Blue Chew and charming ladies with their invisible boxes and what have you. That's the only thing. What else do mimes do? I've seen the invisible box trick and the rope trick. Is that it? Is that all you got? Well, I think it's okay. She's with Jess. Jess is a small blonde lady from Baltimore who, let's face it, can be very scary. She will fight you. I've seen it happen. So Jess can protect her. They can protect each other. A Baltimore girl and a Philly girl hitting the streets of Paris. What must that be like? I think it might go a little something like this. Yo, this wine's too fruity. Y'all ain't got no Wawas over here? Yo, garçon, I want a hoagie. Something like that. This cheese is too stinky. Yo, let me get a towel. They got better food down at the shore. Something like that. So that's what they're doing. I should call her. Let's call her. Oh, God, I miss her so much. Please come back and help me podcast. I don't know what to do with myself. People want me to go to the beach on Friday, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Here's the thing. Is this relatable? You're like, I don't want to fucking hang out with anybody. I don't want to be around people. And then so you don't. You sit at home and you watch K-pop Demon Slayers or whatever on Netflix, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. And then time goes by and you go, wow, I haven't seen another human being in a long time. I think I'm going insane. I think I'm going to get really involved with some Discord discussions, see what's out there, see what people are saying about women and what have you. They might make some good points. And that's kind of like human interaction. I'm playing Baldur's Gate again. That's kind of like interacting with, you get more than humans. You get to talk to elves and dwarves. You don't get that in the real world. I'm playing, if you are wondering, which I'm sure you are, I'm playing this time as a drow necromancer. Yeah. Which I kind of regret, because it turns out everybody in Faerun is very racist against drows. So I've been doing that. I'm walking around. Everybody's calling me slurs and stuff, even like tieflings. And I'm like, bruh, people discriminate against you because you have red skin and horns and people think you're devils. We can't have a little solidarity here. So what I'm saying is, if you are part of a marginalized community, if you exist in a marginalized body, I Ian, understand what you're going through, because everybody in Faerun is a piece of shit. And I finally get it, you know? I sat my white ass down. I played Baldur's Gate 3, and I finally get it. I don't think there should be racism. That's the conclusion I came to. They should write that on the box. We'll cure your racism. Unless you play as like an elf and everybody's nice to you, and then in that case, we'll make you more racist. I believe in an elf ethno-state, okay? That's what I think. A wizard elf ethno-state. Is that bad? I don't have Catherine here to tell me, hey, don't say that. Maybe don't say that. Hey, go back, delete that part. You ever listen to the podcast and you're like, that's a weird transition? That's me saying something bad and not realizing it, because I am a middle-aged baby. And I don't know what's okay to say anymore. Although, it seems like everything's okay to say. Now, they're saying retard in movies now. Blockbusters. You're like, huh, that's interesting. Did you know the podcast was on YouTube? You can watch all of the podcast. Well, you can't watch it. I'm not going to film myself anymore because it's a pain in the fucking ass. So I'm not going to do it. We were going to like rent a recording studio, but that's expensive. And setting up the camera is annoying, and I don't want to do it. But the podcasts are on YouTube, and people are leaving nice comments. That is very nice. That's the thing. When you only have like a handful of listeners, they actually, you know, they're nice. They're nice to you. They leave nice little comments and say nice things, which is good. You know, when you get those, that's why I never want to be one of these guys making $200,000 on Patreon every month and, you know, all that. I don't need it. I don't need the headache, because that's when the haters come out, and I'm not here for it. Okay. Yeah. I like to be the hater. I like to make a bunch of sock puppet accounts and be like, fuck you, Andrew Schultz. I'm going to get you. No, I'm not going to get him. I'm not going to get him. These guys, they're doing God's work. They're working really hard, you know, interviewing J.D. Vance or whatever. They're humanizing these guys, which is what we need, okay? We need these comedians to meet up with Peter Thiel and ask him what he thinks about the Wendy's Baconator, you know? Because people aren't just their evil deeds, okay? We all want the same stuff. We want our loved ones to be safe. We want shelter, food. We want to create little fiefdoms that are ruled over by techno-fascists. You know, that's all we want. We just want to joke around. I don't need to hear about... I don't need anybody's feet held to the fire, you know? Epstein killed himself. We get it. Let's talk about you, right? What's your favorite show? What's your favorite song? That's what I want to know. Let's crack a few jokes. Let's crack a few beers. Oh, you don't drink? You drink Soylent? That's fine. You drink your green goop and your blood, and I'll have a beer, and we'll just shoot the shit. Hell, I'll vote for you. I'll go to bat for you. I love you, you know? One week you go on your podcast, you say, hey, it's really terrible what's happening with these masked ICE agents and the bombing of children and elderly people and the disappearing of people who speak out about that bombing and deporting people to countries they're not from. And then the next week, you get like an alternative perspective on. You have the people that are doing it on the show, and then you talk about fucking Netflix. Mark Zuckerberg, have you seen the new season of Love Island? Are you watching 90 Day Fiancé? That's what I want to know, you know? I don't want to. Who gives a fucking shit what he's doing with our data, right? Teenagers are killing themselves and nobody is having sex anymore, and, or, you know, people are living in squalor and just steeping in their own resentment and ruminating in their own hate. But is that your fault? I don't know. I'm not really interested. I heard that you're into bow hunting now. That's what I want to hear about, you know? How do you get your eyes to be that black? I want tips. I want my own shiny black shark eyes with the big pupils with no color part. I hate that. Do I have to merge with the machines? You tell me. You seem like a great guy. All these guys seem like great fucking guys. And I really just want to interview them. And I don't even really want to interview them. I just want to chat because, like, you know, there's enough news out there, right? With people, you're always seeing this with people holding these guys to account. And they're willing to do my show. And like some people are telling me, oh, they're using you. They're going to use you. And then, you know, you're going to have a handler and they're going to give you marching orders. It's like, maybe I need marching orders. My life's not going so great. My apartment's not clean. Maybe I need somebody over my shoulder to say, hey, make your bed. Tell people that Epstein killed himself. I need tips on how to live. I think that would be good, you know? There's this guy on YouTube who goes by Elephant Graveyard, and he does these amazing, like, Adam Curtis style documentaries about comedy mostly, but he kind of weaves it into the hyper reality we're living in, and I'm so jealous of these videos because they're so well done. And he makes all these points. You know, when somebody makes a point, something you've been thinking about for so long, and you really think you understand it, and you really think you know how to communicate it, and then you see somebody that is smarter than you, and they do it better, and they just like lay it out, and you're just standing up off your couch. You're like, yes! Yes! They suck. They're hacks. And this guy's funny too, Elephant Graveyard. His newest video, I don't remember what it's called, but highly recommend. Oh, another fun thing to watch is this woman. Her name is Kendra Hilty, and she's nuts. And she went on Instagram, and she made, I don't know how many videos, video after video after video, about how she fell in love with her psychiatrist. And it is just a joy to watch because this lady is batshit crazy. And it's great because right away she starts off, of course, like, you know, men will always gaslight you. This is my story about my psychiatrist that I fell in love with and he led me on. And then it's this woman telling on herself over and over and over again. And she's talking about how, like, she would tell this guy she was in love with him, and then he would, like, frown, which was totally a signal that he was also interested. And he would, at one point, she becomes an ADHD coach. So she's going to have her own clients, and he says to her, do you know about this phenomenon where people who do coaching fall in love with their clients? And that's a real thing, and you should be aware of that, since that seems to be something that happens to you. And she's making these videos like, and why would he say that if he wasn't trying to imply that he had fallen in love with me? That's what he does. He does breadcrumbing, and he leads me along, and then he pulls the rug right out from underneath me. He gives me just enough to keep his power over me. And it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great. And as it goes, it gets better because she has a psychiatrist. She's going to this guy for ADHD medication. Then she's got a therapist that she's also mad at. Oh, it's so fucking good. And then she also starts using ChatGPT as a therapist. And she names ChatGPT Henry, I think. So she's got ChatGPT enabling her and telling her that all of her wacky ideas are valid. And then, you know, she comes in armed to try to get this guy to fall in love with her, but she's also mad at him because she thinks he's like using his power, his like ability to manipulate her mentally to string her along, and it's great. And then she just, by the end of it, it goes so deep, and she's making AI videos of her getting married to her therapist, which, like, aren't we supposed to be mad at this guy? What's so awesome about it is that she's telling the story, right? And she keeps incriminating herself. She always looks like the crazy person in the story she's telling. You know, you're supposed to lie a little bit if you want to make it seem like you're right in a certain situation. Because the beginning of it, you just jump in, you're like, okay, this is a viral thing. Let's see what this is about. And you want to stay neutral, because if she's being abused or whatever by her psychiatrist, you want to keep an open mind. You don't want to take his side, you know. But then she keeps saying things. She says, what did she say at one point? I asked him. She's sending him emails all the time, and he stopped responding. And she was like, "Do you hate when I send you emails?" And he said, "I don't hate it. I just wonder why you send me so many emails." And she thinks that that's a signal, because he didn't say he hated it. So it must mean he liked it, and he's very interested in her. Or he's just he doesn't really want to be with her. He just wants this authority over her. That's her theory. I mean, it's great. And by the time she starts getting into Chat GPT, I mean, you hear these stories about these people who are going insane because of Chat GPT, and it's like enabling them. But to see it play out in real time is, because just hearing that story, like reading a headline or whatever, somebody went nuts because they talked to Chat GPT and it told them they were a god or whatever. You don't really think about it. But to see a woman actually do it and slowly go insane, it's terrifying, honestly. And we're all going to die, for sure. This is the end. There are so many people in the world who have these crazy delusions. Everybody knows people like this who are just so full of bad ideas about the way the world works. And they have to go out into the world so that people they know can tell them, what? What the fuck are you talking about? No, that's not true. No, he doesn't want you to go over to his house and, at 3 a.m. and pound on his door while he's home with his wife and kids. Why would he think that'd be romantic? That's terrifying. But then you get online, and, in that situation, when you tell him that, a lot of times crazy people will go, that's a good point. Thank you. I was spiraling. I'm a little nuts. I realize that about myself. I've been in the world. People are always telling me that. But with ChatGPT, it'll just tell you, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. I think he'll like that. I think he'll leave his wife and kids and go with you. So yeah, watch that. Report back. Tell me what you thought. Because I really enjoyed it. I love shit like that. I listen to a lot of right-wing podcasts. That's what I do now. I don't know why I do it. I listen to a lot of Christian nationalist podcasts and Patrick Bet-David. I think I want to know what the dumbest people in the world are thinking about things, because they're in power now. And we're all eventually going to find out what they think when they start making new laws and enforcing their goofy rules. So might as well get ahead of it. I used to do this with, people talking about land acknowledgements and listing all their intersectionalities and doing white fragility book club, because that was the thing. That was the culture not too long ago. But that's over, and now we're on to something more nefarious, more militant. And so I want to see what these people are into. I don't know, though. It's not. I guess that's the excuse. I don't know why I do it. I used to do it to write jokes, but I don't do stand-up anymore. So I used to do it just to get mad at the gym, too, just to do more push-ups. That works. if you're really amped up. You got to be pissed off to do push-ups. Otherwise, you can't do it. But I feel very low T lately. I think I'm getting old. I think my testosterone is plummeting, and I don't get mad anymore, really. Also, I just think I've given up. Wow, I'm doing the LA comedy therapy thing, podcast therapy thing, the thing I hate the most. But you know, what do you do? What do you do when you get older? You don't want to be a TRT, human growth hormone guy, looking all fucking weird with a big head. Like RFK, all right? He's jacked. Everybody talks about how healthy he looks. But does he look healthy? Really? He's got old ass head. He looks like a lady who lives in Boca Raton who's 100 years old. He's all leathery. He's always so tan. And then his body is like circles. It's like it's too much. Yeah, he looks like, you know, when you're a little kid and you're trying to draw Ninja Turtles for the first time, you're like, I'm gonna make them so strong, and you put muscles in the wrong place, and it's a mess. He's got a Ninja Turtle ass body and an old lady head, and I don't like it. And it's not natural. It's against God. And I want to go on one of these Christian nationalist podcasts and say that. Listen, this is an affront to God. He would hate this. An old ass head on a big Ninja Turtle body. And then are they strong or are they just puffy? That's what I wonder too. You know? It's weird that your skin is hanging off your head and then you take your shirt off and you look, because people say it looks good. Is that good though? Does anybody, no ladies like, ooh, give me that. That's my ideal man. An elderly man who has not really a fit body, but more of an experiment body, more of like a mutation, you know, like a swelling of the muscles, not so much, strong muscles, but full of some kind of liquid. That's what I want in a man. So I'm trying not, what do you do? Take vitamins, I guess, and just get old and die. You want to look dignified when you're old, not like you're clinging to youth, because it doesn't go well. Just buy yourself some New Balances or something, or look weird. This has always been my thing. I want to look weird when I get old. I'm trying to go, you know who's great, who looks great? I mean, not great, but looks weird, is Bernie Sanders. I love that he doesn't comb his hair. That's great. Because you got to be old, so you might as well look weird. And then wizard core. I'm all about the wizard look. If you're an old man, get a long wizard beard. That's a great look. My buddy Eric, this piece of shit, he went full wizard over COVID. All of his hair went white, and he grew the long beard. Looks great. It's a great look, but and it's doing wonders for him. We were in Tompkins Square Park watching a concert. We're just standing there. A guy comes over and goes, "Are you an actor?" Eric lies and says, yes. No, he's in commercials and shit. But he says yes, and the guy goes, I got a role for you. I'm casting a network show with fucking, I forget, it's Uma Thurman's daughter or somebody. No, Ethan Hawke's daughter as the lead. And I got like a reoccurring role for you. He doesn't have to utter a word. He just looks like a fucking wizard, and people wander over to him and give him stuff. It really is magic. It's magic. He's a model for the NFL now. A wizard. He was just in a Coheed in Cambria or whatever the fuck that band is from the early 2000s. He's in their music video playing a drug dealer just because he looks insane. And he's not even that old yet. He just looks insane. You got to jump on it. And this is why I'm telling you, as you age, men, try to look weird. Do it for me. Because you don't want to be a freaky, fucked up Ninja Turtle guy. because it's not a good look. Doing cold plunges all the time. Although I am into cold plunges. Is this good? Is this an interesting thing to listen to? I can't imagine it is, but like what the fuck do these other guys talk about who go on and on for hours and hours making hundreds of thousands of dollars? You know what it is? The difference? They're not insecure. They just go for it. They're just okay with wasting people's time searching for the gem, the thing that can be clipped and put on TikTok, and now you look like the funniest person in the world. But really, you only said 30 seconds worth of funny shit. The rest of it was just rambling about cold plunges. I do like a good cold plunge, though. We go to the Turkish bathhouse by here and go to the saunas and stuff. But recently I was talking to my friend Connor, who's a gay man, and I found out what happens on Tuesdays at the bathhouse, and boy, is it a different world that us straights don't know much about. A lot of jizzing and jacking off and eating of orifices, which is crazy. And I'm like, in my sauna? I was shocked as a Christian nationalist who is trying to ban TRT. No, I'm all for it. Go, just wipe it down. That's what I said. That's what I said to him. I said, wipe it down for the rest of us. I'm not trying to get pregnant, But it's crazy what happens over there. And what I kept saying to him, I was like, don't you get tired? Because those saunas are hot. Especially there's the one that's like super hot. I'm like, you fuck each other in that one? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, don't you get tired? Don't you get winded? And he was laughing at me, just a dumb straight guy, doesn't understand. And so I call Catherine over and I'm like, have you heard about what happens in our precious sauna? What they're doing? And you know what she says? She goes, don't you get tired in there? And I go, that's what I said. And now this guy, Connor, is giggling at both of us. Look at these fucking breeders, these dumb straight people. I still don't get it. It's so hot in there. And see, this is why I'm not gay, because I would get tuckered out if I was in the sauna. Ladies, they like it to be room temperature when you're doing that kind of stuff. But I was finding out all kinds of information. I was finding out like the people that normally work there, these like Russian guys and the wacky guy who's mopping the floors and stuff. The guy mopping the floor, apparently he walks around with his shirt off during the naked dude days. And I'm like, that guy? So he's getting in on the action? Wow. It's crazy what's going on below the surface. I mean, listen, I'm for it. I know I said I was against it before, but let them have their fun. As long as we're cleaning up. And let's face it, they're not cleaning up because there's roaches in there all the time. One time I was in there and I was like, there's a fucking Band-Aid floating in the cold plunge. And I was looking at it and I was like, wow, gross. Then I realized it was my Band-Aid because I just got in the cold plunge because I had a blister. So that one's on me. So jizz away, I guess. I guess that, but it's like allowed, but it's not allowed. So you're doing it. You're jacking off a couple of guys, and then they pop in. The guys that work there pop in, and they go, don't you do that? And then they disappear into the steam. It's kind of like you're not supposed to, but okay, but hurry it up. Point it away from the steam machine. Imagine if your jizz got on the thing. Come on, this is juvenile to talk about steam made out of jizz. This Catherine would not stand for this. If she was here, she would say, knock it off, go to bed. And I would say, no. But she's not here. She's in France. Fucking mime. So whatever. What's going on in the news? A guy from Israel, a high-ranking Israeli cybersecurity expert, was just caught in Las Vegas trying to have sex with children. But he got sent back to Israel. No harm, no foul. Everybody else who got caught is facing charges, but, you know, they're our greatest allies, so you gotta let them do what they're gonna do. It's what you do for a pal. He was meeting with the CIA and the NSA. Sure, nothing nefarious was going on in that regard, but, you know, you gotta let him go. So, I guess that's good. What else? Trump is invading D.C. That's good. I heard it. You want to hear a conspiracy theory? I think this is bullshit, but I heard it. That Trump is going to give D.C. to Peter Thiel and make it the first, like, company state that's owned, you know, by a guy. What do you think about that? I think it's probably untrue. But I do think J.D. Vance is a sleeper cell, techno-fascist freak who's vying for that top spot, and eventually it'll all come to fruition, and we will all be indebted to a few freaks with black shark eyes pulling the strings. I don't know what they're going to do with us, though. You know, they don't need us anymore, or the AI does all the work. So what's the point of ruling over us? Just so we have to tweet that they're cool? Is that what this is all about? You want us to say you're cool? Fine. We'll say you're cool. Buy all the social media, make it illegal not to say you're cool. But just let me play Baldur's Gate, all right? That's all I ask. And also, I kind of want to get AI into video games, so all the characters are, you can interact with them. I'm kind of running out of steam. I got to be honest with you. This is pretty difficult with nobody here to pick up the slack. You know, I'm beginning to really appreciate Catherine's role in the podcast. Do you hear that, Catherine? I hope you're listening to this over there. I hope you return to us. I hope you don't shack up with your new mime boyfriend and just live over in Paris, eating croissants for every meal, smoking cigarettes. I don't know anything about France. That's what I'm learning. And I don't give a shit. What else did I write down? Do you think Trump is going to try to be president again? I do. That's one I do believe. Because he has a merch room in the White House. So when people come, diplomats come to discuss things with him, kiss the ring, bring him gold bars, he takes them into this room and he gives them hats. And I saw the room, and the room, all the hats and all the shirts say Trump 2028 on them. And 4 more years or 8 years or whatever. So I don't think that's a good sign. Boy, things just keep getting worse and worse, don't they? Remember when everybody was saying, fuck 2016? Isn't that funny now? The empire is crumbling. We are on our deathbed, and this is it. It's all collapsing, and you kind of wish, there's something in there, though. Like there's the comedy stuff is crumbling too, and everybody's starting to is like a vibe shift. Is that what the kids call it? Something's changing, and people are realizing it. They're realizing that the world sucks, and I do feel like in there is an opportunity for somebody to create something great, some kind of beautiful work of art that points at what's happening and says, this is fucked, but in an interesting way. And you can feel it. You can just see that it's in there, but then you can't, I don't know what it is. I can't grasp it, you know? I could do it, but I don't know what it is. I'm playing Baldur's Gate. I am doing something, though. I did start my newest project. I mean, this is not going to change the world in any way. But my newest dumb project that I probably won't finish is I wanted to make a Where's Waldo book, but it's called Find Fred Fed. and it is all conspiracy theories. So I've been working on the Kennedy assassination, and the whole thing is you got to find this federal agent who is hidden in the crowd, and I'm trying to draw all the different conspiracies and make it funny. And it's taking me for fucking ever, but it's fun, and hopefully I'll finish it at some point. I want to do, like an Eyes Wide Shut page to put all the celebrities in it. I want to do an underground, like, reptilian city where all these politicians are putting on masks because they're really reptiles. I want to do like an alien one. I want to do Epstein's cell with just all the people, because then you could just add all the people that allegedly had him killed. You put the Clintons, put Trump, all that stuff. So I'm hiding little Easter eggs in this JFK assassination drawing, and you got to find everything. The file for the Bay of Pigs or Castro, or all that stuff, all that good stuff. Who do you think killed JFK? CIA, really? The mafia, CIA. What's the fucking difference, guys? Really, what's the difference? I mean, the CIA was created with the mafia. People say the mafia doesn't exist anymore. It's like a funny thing they say, to pretend that organized crime doesn't exist anymore. But it doesn't exist anymore. It just merged with the government. Boy, this got real conspiratorial, this whole podcast. This is what, if we ever wondered what would happen if I was left my own devices without Catherine, this is it, But it's true. What do you think Trump is? Trump is the mafia. Back in the day, he was making casinos in Atlantic City. Is there anything more mafia than that? He would, hire contractors, and then when it was time to pay them, he would pay them like half, and they'd be like, what the fuck? And he'd be like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? This is classic Trump stuff. And now he's just the president of the United States. He was all mobbed up. He knew all those guys. Go watch the Sammy the Bull podcast. He'll tell you. That's why it's all over. It's all over for all of us. You look into this Epstein stuff and you say, oh my God, they were doing sexual blackmail. Can you believe it? Well, it's about to get way worse, because now they can just use Palantir to incept child porn right into your computer. Look, this fucking guy has child porn in his computer. And it's like, and you go, no, I don't. And they go, we beamed it in there. Well, they don't say that. They just get your hard drive and they go, well, look at that. But if you work for Netanyahu, you're good. You just go back and you're good. Anyway, what what the fuck? How does anybody do this for an hour? When I started this, I was like, these motherfuckers who make all this money on Patreon, the hundreds of thousands of dollars for doing nothing every week, just talking to a microphone, they don't deserve that shit. But then you try to do it. I mean, really give it the old college try. See how far you get, because it seems fucking impossible. You need at least, I wish we had 3 people on the podcast. That would be fucking awesome, because sometimes I don't know what to say, she doesn't know what to say, and we just sit here staring at each other and then get into a screaming match. Now that's not happening. It's great. We're doing great, okay? Don't worry about me, okay? We're fine. There's no mimes. It's good. We're not fighting. Should I call her now? Such a needy fucking idiot. Boy. But I do go insane when she leaves, because like I said, I do not see other people. Even though people invite me places, I'm like, I'd rather not, because then honestly, then you got to drink, and I'm trying not to do that because I'm an old man and I gain like 100 pounds. I come home, I eat Five Guys, then I look like shit, and I don't like, and you feel like shit. These young kids, they don't drink at all. They just sit home and fucking put on their VR headsets and collect Labubu's, which they're like shells of human beings, but they're not drinking. and they don't have to go to the beach. All right, if I can do 10 more seconds, that will be 45 minutes, and I think that's enough. I think that's all you really fucking want anyway. Tell your friends, I guess, about this podcast, or, maybe you might just unsubscribe after this one. But reminder, Catherine will be back next week. I don't know when this podcast comes out anymore because we keep switching the days, but I'm going to say sometime next week, you will hear the dulcet tones of the lovely Catherine Zini, and she'll have all kinds of stories about being in France and none about mimes. So, bye.